Hello and welcome to the F1 Does Eurovision show. That's right, it's us all here from the car huddle. We've got Jonathan, we've got Andrew, and a very special guest. It is Darren Turner of YouTube fame.
And I wouldn't say fame, but thank you very much, Hugh.
You're very welcome. Now, Jonathan is live from the A1. And Andrew is live from somewhere else in the UK, and Darren is also live from somewhere else in the UK. So we are we're not mentioning.
Hello, I am Alien calling from space.
Coming from that sounded like someone then. I can't figure out who it was.
I don't know. Now, to anyone who's been watching the F1 Grand Prix from Austria, they managed to do a very interesting anthem. It was I think some kind of rock band that were obviously brought around, and they were playing in quite an incredible manner. And at the end of it, everyone just looked shocked. It looked like something out of The Simpsons, and it was that bad. But now, to everyone who's seen it, I managed to show it to Darren earlier before we started the show. But Darren, what was your view when you saw that incredible anthem?
I wanted to glue my ears up. It was shocking. It was. And I have no words. It was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in your life. They probably would have got less points than the UK did in the Eurovision Song Contest.
It was so bad, and I'm just thinking, what kind of gimmick are they going to come up with next? And what's going to happen? But I looked at Perez because he was obviously all the drivers were almost, their mouths were open as they kind of looked at this thing, and they're all standing there trying not to laugh. I mean, I thought one of them was bound to start laughing and just say something completely inappropriate. But to be fair, they didn't. And of course, you had all the ambassadors and the top of F1, and they were saying, they had their masks on, obviously thinking they were probably quite glad they had masks on, because they were going to say, who on earth organised this? But you kind of think, what on earth are they going to do next? It was appalling. I'm
sure there's some grimaces going on behind those masks.
Yeah. Oh, it was honestly. I kind of don't. If they ever had an Irish Grand Prix, it was almost the equivalent of asking Father Ted and Dougal to come along and do My Lovely Horse as the anthem, because it was like
with Dougal on bass.
You know. And it was like, it would be that bad, It was absolutely shocking. Thankfully, the race was a bit more interesting. Not a few overtakes that causes a bit of controversy, but it wasn't bad. But so, who would be like to be first to talk about what they thought of the race?
I'll go for it. I thought it was a great race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Highlight for me was Hamilton not winning or coming second or third. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought Max did a great job as he has done for the last few races. And Lando, what can you say about Lando?
That was brilliant.
He is going to be a new world champion, that lad. It was absolutely brilliant race. The stewards made two very wrong decisions. But no, I totally enjoyed the race. It was good. It was good. Even listening to the commentary on it, even the presenters were like, "What are these penalties about?" They didn't know. It was stupid.
Yeah, it was pretty harsh.
It was, but I thoroughly enjoyed the race. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, Perez coming back. Where did he drop down to after the end? Was he 11th or 10th or 11th?
Because he finished. Was it 5th?
He finished 5th. Yeah, he did a fantastic drive coming back. He did absolutely brilliant.
Aye.
But I was saying, there's 3D. Oh, he's gone. There's 3 DRS zones in it as well, isn't it? So if you get behind someone, you've got so many chances to catch him.
Yeah, that was it.
It was a brilliant race. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You kind of felt that if Hamilton had been able to get past Lando earlier on, he may have had a chance maybe not to let Max race away so much. I don't know. It would have been close.
I think when Hamilton made that little comment about that was great driving by Lando, I think that was a bit tongue-in-cheek because he held him up so much.
Aye.
I think when he made that comment, I think he was having a dig. But not having a dig, he made it sound like he was complimenting him on his driving. But I think he was having a dig for holding him up so much.
Yeah.
Passive aggressive.
That was my take on it. I could be completely wrong. I'm probably not.
I know that was the thing, wasn't it? How about you, Andrew? What did you think of the race?
I think it was a good race. What I heard of it, I thought Lando did superbly. I agree with Darren about Hamilton being passive aggressive because he's nothing if not a bit of a twat when it comes to stuff like this, is it? I mean, it's funny because he's a funny one because sometimes he can sound like he's being really, really fair, and then he acts like a complete Burke, and that's the problem. It's that
In fairness to him,
inconsistency.
he only acts like a Burke when he's awake.
I can see how much you love him. The anthem, I've just watched the anthem, and all I can say, if it's the one with all the electric guitars and the people banging drums, is that they're crap. Because Rush only need 3 people to do something 10 times better than that, including one drummer who's a living octopus. Well, he's dead now, but he was a living octopus. Neil Peart, rest in peace, the god of drumming. So if they'd have got them on playing Red Barchetta, maybe it would have been a hell of a lot better because a good, nice 10-minute song about racing, followed by a good race without any time for kneeling down and generally being a bunch of arseholes. Thank you very much.
No, moving on to Jonathan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bumholes. Gotta be polite.
Don't want to offend any people.
Don't want to offend any of person, kind, not aliens, not monkeys.
Or they or them. Don't want to offend they or them either.
Don't you swear at me.
It's inclusive, this show, isn't it? Let's include everybody.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm as inclusive as anybody. I hate everybody.
I'm totally all of you too.
Now, Jonathan, if you can hear us, this is your chance to enter the podcast.
I can hear you. Yes, well, the reception's been a little bit dodgy on the A1, so I've heard little bits of it. Yeah, the anthem. I watched it on Channel 4. I don't have Sky, so I'd recorded it and I was watching on catch up, and I just heard the first couple of bars and I just fast forwarded it. But having heard you guys describe it, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this acoustic rape. It just sounds awful.
Well, you can watch it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's all right. It's
on YouTube.
There.
I'll look it up. The race itself I thought was pretty good. Lando did very well. I wasn't sure. I think Hamilton meant it when he said that Lando's such a great driver. But it's almost like he was making an excuse because he couldn't get past. So he's saying, "Oh well, if you want."
Hamilton making an excuse in a race? No, that's unfair.
Great driver would be able to get past.
Oh, I think Jonathan is on a mobile phone.
Yeah, I don't quite know what was going on there.
Cutting in and out a little bit.
Mind game.
So hopefully he'll come back in a wee minute. Going through a tunnel. Must be going through the
tunnel.
One of the millions of tunnels on the A1.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Well, the car is on autopilot, driving itself. So that's how I can do a podcast. Yes.
I'm sure that's legal in Venezuela, but
well, it would be, except the car doesn't have autopilot.
I'm sorry, but it must be legal because Harry's Garage and all these other TV shows, they all talk to a camera while they're driving along, and that's all that Jonathan's doing. Let's make it clear. He's not holding a phone. He's talking to a stationary camera while he's on the phone. So
exactly. There's no issues here at all. We're just basically...
No penalty points. No stewards' inquiry. Michael Massey can sod off.
It is not
exactly. What about
a video call while you're driving? Did you know that?
What?
It's not illegal to make a video call while you're driving.
Is that
exactly
right?
Yeah, as long as you don't look at the screen. Which, frankly, there's a lot of people out there that are so, shall we say, blonde, that they actually think that not looking where they're going, all right, thick, but not looking where they're going
Are we back to the
is a
BMW
really
driving
good. And all of the others. There seems to be a lot of people in Citroen AX GTs with very low suspension and very low hairlines.
I've not seen an AX GT for years.
No, me neither.
They were good little
But
cars,
the
then.
same kind of thing. I'm fast. I drive 2 foot behind
Are
the
they
person in front.
Are they the ones with the seat turned all the way back?
All the way back, yeah.
Driving like that, yeah.
What it is they think they've lowered the suspension as far as it can go. They think lowering the seat back does the same thing. They're lower, so it must be.
Although, to be fair, my dad used to have an Austria 3-door turbo diesel thing. It was quite an SRI turbo. And it was quite a low car anyway, and he used to sit very low in it. But when I used to drive it, I used to put the seat as low as it would go, and I could barely see over the dashboard.
He was
like a BTCC driver. He was like Jason Plato.
Yeah, it was absolutely on the floor. But that was actually quite a good car. I remember the wheels were almost slick, and I was going up Sutra one day, and it was a big puddle, and the traction control started doing all sorts of funny things. I thought, I wonder why, it's the traction control was coming on. And then I realised that my wheels were spinning for about 100 metres going through this big puddle, and it was like it was a lot. So, and when I finally got to Edinburgh and I took it to one of these tyre places, and they said, yeah, your tyres are absolutely shot, and so they were pretty much slick. But I was quite good with my tyres. I can make them last longer than Perez. They keep going and going until there's virtually nothing left.
I've got a request, Jonathan. When we go to Goodwood together to do our special live show, can you check
when Hugh gets us the tickets? Yeah,
when Hugh gets us the tickets and the hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff, and several dancing ladies and a bar tab.
yes,
all those things in lieu of payment. Unpaid work from many years. When that happens, could you check his car over, please? Twice.
Yes. Well, Hugh is infamous for having no tyres. He only ever changes his tyres when someone points out that this rubber basically is completely slick, or there's nylon coming through them, or basically the car gets crushed by the police.
I can imagine the conversation. Oh, darling, I think we need new tyres. There's no grip on them at all. Oh, no.
One of the stories, in fact, about a mile away from where I am now, was the place where Hugh was. I was in a VW Polo with Hugh, and I said, Hugh, you need to get the exhaust fixed on this car. And it's just more or less where I am now at Dalkeith. And he said, it's fine, I'll get another couple of months out of it. At that point, it was a clonk. The exhaust broke off. It then got stuck under the car, ruptured the fuel tank. Half the tank emptied out onto the hot exhaust, and there was so much smoke. I thought we were going to go up like Vesuvius. I mean, it was extraordinary, and yeah.
We made it home that night. We made it home.
I don't know how. Because the smell of fumes in that car was something else.
So, Hugh, I'm getting from this that you're not big on car maintenance, then.
No.
No. The other day he got slated with car maintenance. Oh no, his car got slated. Sorry, same thing.
But no, that's the thing. I get it serviced, but that's about it. I don't really clean them. My wife gets appalled because when she gets my car afterwards, there's like McDonald's packets and half-eaten crusts and sandwich packers in packets.
I have car OCD. It's got to be spotless. The inside gets a bit dusty and that because I put my daughter up from the farm and stuff, so I get a bit crap on the floor. But the outside has to be spotless. I can't stand the dirty. It drives me nuts.
I'm somewhere in between. My ex-wife is Hugh. I should have
let her die. There's breaking news.
Yeah, well, Hugh is better looking than she is. Anyway.
Well, when Hugh buys a car, he buys one that's been fully serviced. So Hugh buys a fully serviced car, but that means he thinks all the servicing's been done. So he never has to do it again.
What it means, man. I mean, fully serviced.
It's like buying a car that's painted. You have to. It's one of the maintenance is you have to keep doing it, Hugh. It doesn't just stop.
I get them done once a year. The Citroen's getting done quite soon as well. When you have a Dacia Sandero as your other car, it runs on peat anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You just put something in it and it drives along. It's like, it's like
peat. Did you say peat?
Hugh, hang on, just rewind about 10 seconds. What car did you say you have?
I've got a Dacia Sandero diesel.
Okay.
It's the fastest car in the world.
I thought the years have gone wrong.
It's cheap.
So you're the person that bought one.
Well, I managed to find a diesel one, which is very rare. And so it's but it's quicker than the petrol. That's why I bought it. And it runs on fresh air.
Fumes.
Yeah,
Mine does. My Hyundai's gone. That's runs on,
I can't. I drive a Peugeot 508.
Oh, they're nice though. Is it one of the new ones?
No, unfortunately. It will be possibly next year. It might be one of the new ones. But at the moment, it's the Mark 1.
Yeah,
it's
nice
not
car.
62 plate, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they are good, very refined, and they're good on fuel. They're a nice car.
It's brilliant on fuel. It does just over 1,000 miles on a full tank.
Wow.
What? Oh, I love a car that does over 1,000 miles.
Just over 1,000 miles on a full tank. Get about
That's amazing.
1,040 and 1,060.
How big a tank is that?
I just saw it round behind me.
It must be about 70 litres then.
It cost me about 85 quid, 90 quid to fill it up.
So it must be about 70 litres. Yeah. Because my Dacia's about 50 odd litres. You can push you get about 54 in. I can get about 700 miles on a tank if I really brim it, which is not bad, and it's only a 54 litre tank. Officially 50, but it's obviously got a bit more.
I mean, mine doesn't go over 65 mile an hour, and I drive it like Miss Daisy. I never drive above 70 mile an hour ever.
All right. It was funny because I do a commute from Alnwick to Coldstream, and I was speaking to a friend who lives nearby, and they said, "Oh, you can't do Alnwick to Coldstream in less than 45 minutes." And I, at that point, almost spat out my drink because I do it normally in about 32. And it was like, and I didn't realise that it was 32 miles basically between Alnwick and Coldstream, depending which road you go. But it's kind of country roads, and then you got the A697, and then obviously got a few little kind of slower bits as well. But if you can make up the time, let's just say in other places, all legally, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, so 32 miles in 32 minutes across.
Bayesian Banquet, Hugh. Bayesian Banquet.
Oh, I missed that one. That's such. You'll have to open up soon. But so what's been happening in terms of sim racing? We have got Lady Wanderlust on Thursday. She's from California, and she's a GT Sport racer, so she's coming on Thursday. We were going to have the Key, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately. But he'll be coming on a little bit later, so Key 25 will be coming on in the next few weeks as well. We've also got Gamer Muscle Videos, who is going to come on, and Zucker. I've been in contact with all of them, so we've got some quite big names coming up over the next few weeks as well. So looking forward to that. And this Friday, I'm in round 2 at Imola, which is the Wavy World Tour, which is Thea's league. So we're going to be doing a 2-hour race at Imola, and it's going to be 3 of us driving, Jason and Keith and myself. So that should be fun, and that starts about 8 o'clock on Friday night. But how about you, Dan? What have you been up to in terms of sim racing? I know you had a bit of an incident.
There's a large round-shaped thing missing from here. So I've not been doing much sim racing because my steering wheel broke, which is highly upsetting. It's gone off to Fanatec. They have emailed me and said that it's unrepairable, and they are sending me a new one out. So I'm looking forward to getting that at some point. I don't know how long it'll take. But I only got the email this morning or yesterday. No, this morning. I got the email this morning saying they were sending a new one out. I've been watching people doing the daily races, which they seem to have messed up because race C is shorter than race B this week, which is quite bizarre. But I mean, I'm actually good because I like the Group 4 race this week.
I was going to practice that a bit later on.
I mean, PD have used imagination again and put Group 3 at Seaside, the Dragon Trail, so that's nothing new apart from it's the reverse track. But I'm a bit disappointed actually that I can't race this week because I've been looking forward to it. But from what the videos I've seen and people streaming, there's been some really good racing, which I'm gutted that I can't be involved in.
Yeah, I was in race B earlier today and had some quite good battles. Some quite crazy driving. I've saved 1 or 2 replays. I'm not sure. I might do a video on it as well, but we'll see. But I haven't done race C yet. That was the one I was going to do a time for and see what it's like, because it does seem quite fun.
Yeah.
And see how it all goes. But I was going to do a kind of BBC style impression for you there and say, well, you're a victim of sim emotions, of sim. There would have to be a term in there. Oh, you must have been going through such a terrible time. Exactly. How did it make you feel now that you knew you couldn't use your Fanatec wheel for more than a few days?
I've stood on several motorway bridges contemplating.
Excuse me. Is this an example of what they're calling critical racing theory?
Very good.
No!
It could well be.
We are going to do that. That's going
There
on
you
the
go.
We are putting that on the heading. F1 does Eurovision and critical racing theory.
Yes.
Oh, goodness me.
The only reason is that his wheel thought it had privilege, and so it broke.
You're going to get cancelled. You're going to get cancelled.
But the funny thing is, it was the control stick. It kept making things that turn right. So it had right privilege. So I don't know. Really, is that what you want?
You tried to control the stick, and you have suffered the consequences.
I have.
It wants reparations now. So
all the sticks and all the wheels in the world, because it's you that did it. Even if you didn't, you did. Ta-da!
They'll all be kneeling down on the grids everywhere.
You'll never get on Star Wars.
There'll be an esports kneeling session for you. It's
I thought when you said you're going to do an impression, you were going to do like, I don't know, an accent or something.
I was trying to do a kind of Victoria Derbyshire. No, I was trying to do the Victoria Derbyshire. Well, how did that make you feel?
I don't.
You can't use profanity.
Oh my God!
I'm talking. I will admit I didn't think I'd miss racing this much.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
You stream every day. How can you? Well, you stream a lot.
2 or 3 times a week.
That's a lot.
It is, yeah. I've been furloughed for 16 months. I get bored.
Well, it wasn't a criticism, Darren, in any way whatsoever. No. It was more just an observation that it seems pretty obvious you really love it.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not very good at it, but I've got better.
You're better than me.
I've never raced you.
Exactly.
We need to get Andrew's.
There's no way I'm going on any of those things.
We need to get your PlayStation Plus membership so you can race online, Andrew, and then we'll get you on there.
The state of the way I race at the moment, where I'm vaguely on the track.
That's all right. That's what most of the drivers are like, anyway.
Yeah, I know, and I've heard what everybody says about them.
No, because I don't know whether something's happened at the. Have they changed the penalty system or something on the sly and not told anyone? Because last week at Monza, the penalty system was a lot
harsher.
I think they had some F1 stewards on it. It was a lot. There was a lot of penalties dished out last week. It seemed a lot.
Somebody mentioned something like that recently. I'm sure something I've seen, and you know how little I watch because I'm, me. I'm sure somebody, which means it's got to be one of you lot, because has said something about this penalty system changing again, and it being really harsh.
And
was it Latka that was from Taxi that was on last week? No one meant. He sounded like Latka from Taxi. He did. He just did.
Oh, Valerio. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was great, but he still sounded like Latka, and he didn't say pit stop. Pit stop. I wanted him to say pit stop. And he didn't say, because people are asking him. I mean, Darren, I'm sure you asked a few times about how do you feel? The old F1, lazy F1 question. How do you feel about winning the race? A pit stop. He was a very good pit stop. And I am very happy. I mean, he's famous. Johnny Lacey was famous for saying it. I'm very happy. I'm not very happy. Oh, it's Italian. You got to do it.
Oh, that's classic. I could just pretend that you're John Lacey, and then I could say, look, I've got you on as a podcast only.
I don't know if I sound like John Lacey because I can't remember what he sounds like. It was so long ago. I just talk about my vineyard. Hey, I've got a vineyard, yeah. I used to be an F1 driver. Now I drove a Ferrari. I love a Ferrari.
You've got a bit of French going on there as well.
Well, he's French-Italian.
French-Italian, isn't he? French-Sicilian. Yeah.
French-Italian. Thank you very much.
I'll let you off there. Sorry.
Was it Corsican?
French-Sicilian.
How can you be French-Sicilian? Sicily's in Italy.
It must be a cross. Must be a half and half for them.
Oh, breed.
Right.
No,
okay.
his mum is French and his father is Sicilian.
He's a
They
Italian.
poured 2 tons of wine over the baby to baptise him. Oh, we got a Sicilian and we got olive oil and with lots of butter. And here, you also, you got to have...
With a bit of garlic, though. You need some garlic because he's half French. So you need to baptise him with garlic and olive oil.
Hey, we put first you saute. These are snails. It's gotta go. He's a first racing driver. Because we fed him escort. Go, go, go.
Well, the Car Sim and Race Riding Show.
Thankfully, it's not that one. It is the one. There's Eurovision and the Carnival.
That's good.
Darren Turner, who will probably never want to come back again.
Just figured out.
Je suis journaliste, j'aime la musique pop. Où est la plage?
Music rock.
Est-ce qu'il y a une toilette près d'ici? Oh, bouf.
Well,
I've just figured out the point system. We can do it like Eurovision. We can get Eurovision. We can get Eurovision. Before you appeared in your car, right? We were working out as the whole of F1 is now become like a school summer sports day where no one wins, everyone gets a certificate. So because they were so brave turning up and hopping down the track.
Yes.
In the same way, all the underprivileged millionaire racing drivers, because they've turned up and they're very brave, they are all validated because some of them crossed the line and didn't blow up. So,
well, they should all equalise the points at the end of the.
You can't do that because then how's the championship going to win? How are you going to win the championship? So you just do it the Eurovision way. Eurovision.
It's whoever produces the less carbon dioxide. So and then they just share the points.
And then you give it to China.
Their tops.
Gotcha.
So they've got to equalise the points.
That's it. You say it's whoever creates the least carbon footprint, and then you give everything to China anyway. Brilliant idea.
Well, on that cynical note, we'll get ready.
Cynical? What are you talking about?
What do you think about Formula One doing a reverse grid?
Yeah, because that's the thing in Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time. They're going to do this extra race up
sprint race.
But I'm quite looking forward just to see how it works.
Sprint race.
Well, it's not going to make any difference because the fastest drivers are going to be in front and the slower drivers are going to be at the back.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same as qualifying.
It's almost like racing.
It really is, isn't it?
It's
extended qualifying to 100 kilometres. That's it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Do that, but then do a reverse grid to start.
There is one thing they could do. They could put Jason Plato in a car and see how many people he smashes into. To overtake. Push to pass. Plato special. I learnt it from him.
No, it's punt to pass.
Well, on that note, this show was only supposed to be 10 minutes long. As a little
it's much better 28 minutes.
As to what it's like to be an interviewer and having a show. But a big thanks to all our guests today. We have, of course, the one and only Darren Turner. He was coming all the way from the west of England, thereabouts. We've got
pretty much so, because there's this kind of watery stuff called the Irish Sea, and then there's this thing called Liverpool. That's why it was a port. It's quite famous, really.
And then we've got Andrew Marr, all the way from another part of Britain.
Just down the road.
Exactly.
And then we're just down the road. I could wave at him. Hold on.
Who is moving as we speak to various parts.
I'm in Edinburgh now. I'm just by Edinburgh University, by the tower that used to be called the David Hume Tower, but the students were so triggered by David Hume, it's now called something else. So I'm now triggering them by driving my large Ford Ranger around Edinburgh and emitting carbon dioxide. They all look very, very worried by it.
I met a geography student, right, in Edinburgh University who didn't know where he was, and he had a big scarf. Talk about stereotype. It was fantastic. It's literally, we were looking, I was going for an interview, and me and my wife and my ex-best mate from Scummy, Darren knows where that is.
Scummy?
Yeah, Skelmersdale.
Oh, Skelm. Scummy. Yeah, okay.
Scam, yeah, but also scummy.
I've never heard it called scummy before. But,
Have you not really? Oh, no, plenty of people have. There was a lass who walked off from him when he told her that she was from Skelmersdale. She went, scummy, and just turned off and went off.
No. That's, well, yeah. I can understandable.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, and this student comes out of this building, geography building, and said, "Excuse me, can you tell me where this department is?" And he went, "I don't really know." I'm like,
"You're already there."
Was he drunk?
No, he was a student.
Most people in Scotland are usually drunk.
Was he drunk?
It's podcast for breakfast, isn't it?
To be fair, he was what we call in my hometown of Loughborough a Scooby-Doo student.
A Scooby-Doo.
A Scooby-Doo. We call student.
Where I live is a Subaru Impreza.
Yeah, but this was way before Subarus existed in Britain. We're talking 70s and 80s.
All right.
Jonathan had a few by that time, didn't you? But,
1976, the first Subaru came to Britain.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was that. They weren't called Scooby-Doos,
Yeah,
were they?
We had 25 Subarus in our time. They didn't last very long. They just rusted away.
Well, there's a note for another show. But
Yeah, it was.
there we go.
Yeah, it was in the 70s, late 70s, throughout the 80s into the 90s. Subarus, and I had an Impreza in the 2000s. So
You
I had
did,
lots of
because you're a
Scooby-Doos.
boy racer.
Well, on that note,
Yobbo,
we'll end the show as we've got a restriction of half an hour here. But it's been great to have you on the show. Thank you very much for coming on board. Stay on the line as we finish. And for everyone who is watching and listening, listening.
That's all right. I've made it to Edinburgh. I've made it. I'm back in.
Excellent. This is the F1 Does Eurovision. We will see you very soon. Take care, drive fast, and try not to crash. And you'll win the race at the first corner. Bye just now.
Bye.